Okay, guys, welcome to the Free China Prime live stream. Not Amazon Prime, but Free China Prime. And we have Corey in here. Here he is. He showed up. Man, I'm shocked.
Yeah, man. Last minute, I'm like looking at the GPS. It's like 2 minutes until home. I'm like,
Oh, were you actually driving then before we got
yeah,
started?
yeah. Like I was trying to get home, and traffic. For anyone that's ever like, if you move to Orlando, be prepared. Like, if you think traffic is bad where you're from, no, it's not. No, like I thought.
Really?
I thought Chicago traffic was bad. When you get next to Disney, it's like, oh my gosh, it's like a
Yeah,
literal hellhole.
with
It
like
really
the
is.
Universal Studios and that
Yeah,
kind of thing as
yeah,
well, right? Yeah, yeah.
yep,
It's
yep.
hectic. It's hectic.
Universal's not nearly as bad as Disney. Disney is like cult, so it's like the
But
amount of people that go there is
hasn't
crazy.
Universal just opened a new park there though, or something?
Yeah, that's true. So you're right. There is quite a bit more people in the area right now. Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, cool.
yep,
Well, anyway, with all of
yep.
that aside, with the small talk out of the way, we have a
Mm,
pretty cool stream today. I think we've got a lot to talk about regarding the tariffs and
mhm,
China's response to the tariffs from the US. And
mhm,
we also have some interesting stuff to do with politics in Taiwan. So I think for most people would be interested in that because you don't really get the chance to hear so much about it in Western media. So
mhm. Yeah.
let's get straight to it because we've got some stuff to talk about China first. Just some funny random clips that I always find. So here we go.
Oh, there he is again.
Okay, the first thing that I want to show everybody is this banner that was put up in Sichuan, Chengdu, city called Chengdu, famous for all of that spicy food and apparently the spicy women as well. Have you been to Chengdu?
Mhm. Yeah, of course. Yep, yep.
Yeah.
Love spicy food, but yeah, I've been there before. Yeah,
Okay, home of the panda and all of that stuff, right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
there was this banner that was just put up on this overpass. I'm not exactly sure of the exact coordinates, because the banner's gone now. But in Chinese, it says, "Without political system reform, there is no national rejuvenation." It says the
Mm.
people do not need a party with unchecked power, and the last
Mm.
one there says China does not need anyone to point the way. Democracy is the way.
And you said it's gone now, huh? What a
um,
surprise!
I know, right? Imagine that. Imagine that. But it's just evidence, I guess, that not all Chinese people are like in love with the CCP, right?
Yeah, it's a very good conversation for if you live in China and you're not one of those people that just sits in the foreigner bubble. If you actually get to know Chinese people and you talk to Chinese people, you would learn that not everyone's on the boat of the CCP. It's just the ones that are the loudest people in China, but not everyone's on board always.
Yeah, and this just goes to show it, and whoever did it, like, I mean, for us, like in the UK and you in the US, this is like a normal thing to see, isn't it? Somebody
It's
putting up a
it's
banner.
pretty brave.
Yeah, but
Pretty brave to do in
I just
China.
don't think that people truly understand, the people who have never been to China, just how brave it is for somebody to do this.
Yeah, if you got caught doing that, like if they find out who did it or if they already know, like that person is in a lot of trouble. A
Game
lot of
over.
trouble.
It is game over, man. Like,
Yeah.
you can kiss your life goodbye, and that
Yeah.
sucks. That sucks. All right,
Yeah.
moving on. Let's see what else we've got here. Play. Oh, yes. Okay. So here is a funny post from Kyle Bass, and he
Mm.
says it cracks me up that she's presidential plane is a Boeing 747, And
Mhm.
he still won't fly on one of his Chinese-made planes.
Yeah.
It's
Again,
funny.
that comes down to the simple fact that not every technology is as easy to make or to produce or manufacture, and
Yeah,
there's a reason, that he's riding around on a Boeing 747. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. I'm
They
glad.
don't have Chinese planes that are as good. They don't have them.
No, they have their own one. It's called the C919 or some nonsense like that. But yeah, it's definitely not as good as a Boeing, and it hasn't been tried and tested like a Boeing 747. But it's also interesting. All of the people in the CCP in China's government, they all use an iPhone rather than a Huawei. They use a MacBook rather than like a Huawei laptop or whatever, you know?
Mm. Happens all the time, and you'll see all these politicians. They'll tell you, that they're all China, they're all for China manufacturing and all that stuff. But like you said, they'll still have the iPhone as their main phone. They might have a work phone as a Huawei phone or something, but they always have an iPhone.
Yeah, and like
Yeah,
the for their everyday life, it's always an iPhone, isn't it? And here is just interesting that you brought up that the Boeing 747 is tried and tested, and all of the parts are made, and they know where to get all the parts from. And here you have the C919, which as you can see, there's only three parts of this plane actually produced in China. This is
yeah,
their crown jewel achievement, isn't it? This plane, and yet most of the technology comes from other countries.
right. And there's probably some kind of a reason that they make those things too. That if you knew why, you'd probably be like, oh well, it makes sense. Or else they would just buy the entire thing.
Yeah, yeah. So they make the wings, the radar cover, the fuselage, and the tail, and basically all of the tech stuff it comes from the US by the looks of things.
Yeah, those pieces, the tail, the wings, and that type of stuff is probably stuff that's easily copied that they can make cheaper with Chinese manufacturing. So that's probably why they do it. You know.
Yeah, and Xi Jinping ain't riding in one of these, baby.
Yeah, right. He
Look at
knows.
it.
He knows better.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he wants to live.
I tell you, they're not very comfortable anyways. Like it's like anything Chinese is never very comfortable. They always try to make it sound like Chinese stuff is amazing. Like I remember when even like flying like Hainan Airlines, I'm like, damn. Like I know I'm fat, but Jesus, these are like some of the tiniest seats I've ever seen. Like, come on now, like
Yeah.
made for Chinese people. I'm like, man,
And the food, man. You think airline food is
yeah.
rough. Wait until you
Oh, it's
fly on China domestic airline.
ooh, yeah, it's bad. It really is. But it's even bad
Jesus
for like
Christ.
even Chinese people are like, damn, like what is this? Like it's bad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It
yeah.
is. It's like, oh my God. It's like, I would say if you're gonna fly domestic in China, take your own lunch. Something.
Man, something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, well, let's move on because we got so much to talk about today, dude. Like I say every
Oh, it's
time, we
cool.
could talk about this forever, right?
Oh man, we could do like 3-4 hours live if we wanted to. It wouldn't be a problem. There's so
Yeah.
much stuff out there.
So guys, if you like it in the comments, if you want us to do 4 hour live, then yeah, you're gonna have to start throwing some super chats our way.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'll stay all day if we get enough viewers. I'll stay here all day. But I'm just saying.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Maybe
Cool.
maybe in the future, right? We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see, dude. We'll see. Anyway, let's move on. So let's see what else have I got on the magic thing. Okay, this video cropped up. It's basically saying here that American people are so poor that they can't afford eggs, and there's homeless people everywhere, and the US spends so much money on military and it doesn't care about its own people, so much so that they cannot afford eggs. Now, you're in America right now. Is there something going on with eggs that I don't know about?
Yeah, so they had that bird flu thing, and they killed off millions and millions of chickens, of course. But there's this weird thing. I find that, and I'm not going to be political of left or right, but I find that the states where these types, like where eggs were already expensive, went up in price.
Yeah,
Whereas if like where I live, like they're the same. So it's just I guess it depends on where you live, maybe the population and certain things.
yeah,
But I guess yeah, there's some people where the eggs are like terribly expensive. But like my father's hometown, like people get eggs for free anyways. Like it's rural, so they don't care about that stuff. People just give eggs away,
yeah,
So and even right now, like even in the places where egg prices did go up, like they've already went back down anyways. So it's
yeah.
kind of old
So,
news, I guess you
can
could
you
say.
afford eggs?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I can afford eggs. Let's be honest. I'm not skipping the eggs. I think we could tell. So
I don't know, dude. You might have like an egg allergy or something. Who knows?
I don't know, man. No, no, the eggs are fine.
So this video is interesting for several reasons. First of all, it's a load of bullshit, but I think we all know that. But also, like in the same video, this is supposed to be like them talking about America right now, yeah. And so you've
Mm,
got like people wearing T-shirts in one of the shots, then you got people wearing jackets in the next shot. I mean, what see? Look, why are they all wearing coats in this clip? And then it zooms in on this, and
mm.
have you ever heard of Cole's Supermarket?
Well, and that's the thing. Who knows? But I mean, there were things where the cost of eggs, I guess, did go up and stuff like that. And there were people that were like going to the store and buying a bunch of them. But
Yeah,
I've never seen a Coles here. I thought Coles was
it's Australian.
Australia. Yeah, Australian, isn't it? Yeah, I thought it was
Yeah,
New Zealand or Australia. Right.
yeah, it's
That's kind of
Australian.
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why are they putting this clip in? Again, it's just sloppy, lazy propaganda that you constantly see from China. And that's why we're here to
Yeah.
point out to you guys that if you do see something from China talking about your country, you've got to be a little bit skeptical and just think about it. Is that really the truth, you know?
Yeah, that's like a lot of people will always ask, like, how do I find content stuff to talk about? I literally go on Twitter and just look at the propaganda. And if you just question all of it, any of it, just pick any of it and just really look into it, find there's probably some bullshit there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, you can like seriously, like China is kind of like the gift that just keeps on giving when it comes to content. There's always something you can talk about with China. And you don't even have to make any of this up. You don't even have to embellish on it. This is just the absolute truth with what they're doing.
Yeah, yeah. Like it's like everything else in China. They make it in a hurry. They don't pay attention to detail, and that's just you know, that's that's the
Yeah.
norm.
They have nobody to sort of like there's no checks and balances. There's nobody to proofread their crap.
Whether it's a building or propaganda, it's always like it's not very,
Yeah.
you know.
No quality
Yeah.
control. Okay, let's move on. Okay, we've got the safest road in China. Just wanted to show.
Hmm.
Should have
Ooh.
music off though, because that's going to be copywritten. Let me just turn the sound off. 3 in a row on that very same road. What is going on there?
Yeah,
Uh,
traffic in China is people are like China's so safe. I'm like, I mean, kind of like till you drive a car, get in a car anywhere near a vehicle,
yeah,
then it's immediately dangerous.
it's worse. I mean, it's not worse. It's the same in Taiwan. It's crazy. Taiwan
Mm.
is the traffic there is absolutely insane, especially because of the amount of like scooters just ripping around. It's wow. It's just dangerous, man.
Do they have the people like they'll ride the bike down the opposite direction and they'll have like sandbags and all kinds of crazy shit and take up half the lane and you're like, what the hell?
Yeah,
Like I've seen that type of shit in China where I'm like, why is that guy driving into oncoming traffic and just uh,
Dude, one time in Taiwan, I saw like a whole family of like 5 people on one scooter. It was mad.
mm,
It was mad, and like it's really weird. But sometimes, like you see the parents wearing a helmet and all of that, but the kids aren't, and I really don't know what's going on.
yeah, they'll be wearing a helmet. Little Xiao Wong is like dangling on. His legs are dangling over the front of the scooter. He's got just a regular coat on.
Yeah,
Nothing. Little Xiao Wong could die at any moment. And they're like, yeah, it's okay. We got 4 people on this little scooter.
it's insane. It's insane. I
Yeah,
really don't get that. And I have brought it up in the past in some videos and stuff. And the Taiwanese people, I think a lot of them are also appalled by it, but you still see it like all the time.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Weird. So next clip, we've got some the grabbing grandmas and grandpas of China, just showing
Oof.
you like this is like a common sight. I've seen this no end of times at supermarkets.
Oh my gosh, I know.
Look at that. You'd think there was like a shortage of mantou or whatever that is that they're diving for. And for those of you that don't know, mantou is like this steamed bread, and it's the worst fucking food you can ever get. It's tasteless, tasteless garbage.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but like a lot of foods that are really popular in China don't resonate very well with Westerners. They're
Yeah,
just they're not they're not very good. They're really not.
yeah. And you see them
For
eating mantou all the time.
yeah, for a country that really praises itself for like its foods and all that stuff, like there's a lot of food there that like you just wouldn't like, and like that's just the unfortunate truth. I'm not saying all Chinese food's bad. It's definitely not.
No,
Being a fat dude, I definitely found plenty of food that I enjoyed, different things. But there's a lot of it that I was like, yeah, no, didn't like that at all. Like there's just a lot of it, yeah.
yeah.
But they will
Trust me.
fight to the death over some of this stuff. It's crazy.
Manto. Imagine fighting to the death over freaking Manto.
Yeah, right. Like it's like not even good, and you're fighting for it. Like, jeez.
Yeah, man. And oh, we got a super chat from Mike here.
Mike Stewart.
Yeah, he says, ever see workers doing traffic control, stop slow on roads during construction in China? Uh, it's not in China. Yeah, I have actually. They usually have like sort of like at the busy times. They usually do have people doing sort of traffic control. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
my
and
wife's hometown used to have it. They'd always have some guy stand. He had like a pre-made platform out of
a
concrete that he
whistle.
stood on. And wait, what'd you say? It has a name?
He
Like,
had like a whistle or something like that.
yeah, they'll always have a whistle or something, and they'll even if they have stoplights, they'll still like be out there. It's yeah. I've even
Yeah,
seen it with stoplights, and I'm like, why? Like
it's weird,
you've
isn't
been
it?
you've been replaced. Your job is finished. But you
Yeah.
know,
No, because the traffic lights are meaningless for a lot of people, I think.
yeah, yeah.
So, and also in Taiwan, when they're doing roadworks, they have this like fake man built with moving arms going up and down go and to stop. It's really bizarre. They're everywhere.
What? Really? Okay.
Yeah, really. It's like this like little like plastic mannequin dude, and he looks creepy as hell. And like his arms like moving up and down. You literally see them everywhere in Taiwan.
Oh, okay. I'll have to Google it after the stream. Yeah,
Yeah,
after the live.
I'll show you some footage. I've got some footage of one. I'll maybe play it on the stream next week or something.
Sure, sure.
Creepy, man. Right. Anyway, these having grandmas, grandpas, they will never stop until they get their
Yeah.
manto.
And like for people that think this is like a super extreme case, like that's not. Like the older people in China are like ruthless. Like I never forget the day like one of these days I went to get on the bus And I had an old grandma, and I mean, she just like jabbed her elbow in my side and like pushed me out of the way to get on the bus. And
Yeah,
I had a friend, like he's another YouTuber in China that made videos, and I'm pretty sure like he actually had to go to the hospital. Like he got attacked by an old guy, like hit him with an umbrella getting on the metro or something. Like these older people in China, like they're not, it's funny to hate on older people, but it's like that, yeah,
was
they're
that
rough, a lot of them.
was that Snarky that got attacked by the umbrella?
Yeah, did you ever talk to him about that before?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Like, I used to like chat with him every now and again on WeChat before I deleted it, and
Yeah.
I'm sure he told me that story.
He literally had like, maybe sometime have him come on and tell the story, but I'm pretty sure like he had like internal bleeding or something, like it was
Yeah,
serious.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm not sure if he's gonna come on this stream.
Yeah, right. But you know what I mean, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, like the grabbing grandmas and grandpas, they're from that lost generation where they grew up
Mhm.
in a time where they had to be selfish, they had to be completely selfish and just like take everything because it was like survival of the fittest basically. And that's where they come from, that Mao Zedong cultural revolution and Great Leap Forward times where people were starving to death, and they're the ones that survived. And they basically rule China now.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the thing is the funny thing about China is actually, you're taught to have a lot of respect towards those people and to love those people and to care those people, but it's like, hey, they don't return it and give it in return,
No.
it's not that like if you want respect you got to give it. Like they're not giving it back to you no matter how much you give
Oh,
them.
absolutely not. And this is, I suppose you could say, this is another product of that. Is this tofu dreg construction?
Holy shit.
It's a
The whole
bridge.
thing? The
Yeah,
whole thing.
yeah. Look at it.
Wow.
I
I
don't
mean,
know
that's
how
not
old.
even. It's not like just a section. That's the whole bridge.
Yeah, and it doesn't
That's
look that old, really, does it?
no, it doesn't. Like you could tell. But look at the way that like the concrete has like broken and stuff too.
Yeah.
Like you could tell that is just some super cheap, not formulated like I'm not a concrete guy, don't get me wrong, but you can just tell by the way that it looks like something is not right here. It should not be breaking like that.
I'll quote you on that. I'm not a concrete guy.
Yeah, yeah. Those
Does that
those are
mean
like kung fu approved bricks. Like you could punch through those pretty. Like those are, you know what I mean? Those are kung
Miyagi
fu.
Miyagi Do approved concrete?
Some Steven Seagal approved concrete. There you go.
Yeah, dude, like you are a concrete dude, man. I think you're a pretty solid guy.
Pretty. Yeah, apparently more solid than those. Than that bridge there. In fact, the guy standing on it filming it's pretty brave.
Yeah, yeah, I would like definitely not be on there, man. Jesus Christ, look at it. That is awful.
Yeah.
And
Like
it doesn't look
it
that old because the neighborhood
no.
in the background there, it looks like sort of some new build there, right?
And that's true. Like even same thing. I always just tell people my personal experience because that's the best I can do. But in China, when I lived in a building that was 20 years old, like I thought it was like 70, 80 years old. They're like, hell no, this is a new building. I'm like, really? Why? Like, why is it all
Yeah.
dirty and shit on the outside? And this looks like it's 100 years old, but it's not.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
probably 20 years old at the most.
yeah, it was like 20 years old. It's like 17 years old technically. I was like,
Jesus.
what?
Yeah, I lived in a
Yeah,
building in China that was built in the 90s, and it was falling apart, man. It was awful.
yeah. They ain't
Yeah.
washing that shit on the outside. They're like, nah, we don't. We ain't gonna wash it. All that like dark smog, moldy stuff that gets on the outside of the building, the residential buildings. They're like, nah,
Ugh.
we're not cleaning that
So
off.
I like what Mike wrote here. He said, "There's no concrete evidence that there was any actual concrete used."
Yeah, it's plaster or something. Like it's who knows what it is. Yeah, no, and that's the thing. It might not be concrete. Who knows what that is? Like,
Yeah. God.
who
We've got
knows?
more we've got more tofu stuff coming up though. So these people in this like new apartment complex with their signs and it says we don't want to live here, we're selling the apartment. And pretty much everybody has it up.
Oh shit! Oh shit! There's a lot of them.
Yeah. Here's the reason why.
人家花个几百万的房子，做个豆腐渣工程，你看这是墙，拿手勾都可以勾得下来，这是墙，看到吗？
Get out now. Like,
你说要不要出来了？我们大家说，
like, stop what you're doing and run.
这个房子
Like,
你看看，
I know, right?
you're literally digging your own grave at this point.
Ridiculous.
窗户掉了，不要说我窗户没装好，
Look how new the window there looks.
Yeah.
手都能勾得下来，这房子都要倒掉。
And here's some more. Just, kind of on a little tofu direct theme here. I mean, these are all new builds. I don't think anybody was injured, by the way, so YouTube, chill. Look at this. Okay, it's like yeah, it's like a wrapper on a bit of chocolate just peeling off. You know what I mean? Look at that. Bloody hell!
What happened? It's like gravity. You know why? Because it's made like garbage.
I know.
Like when gravity is the thing that's tearing your building down. You know what I mean?
Yeah. China's building's worst enemy, gravity.
It looks like it's been bombed. Was it the Americans? No,
Yeah,
gravity. Just gravity.
Okay, getting off of the tofu dregs because yeah, we talk about that every week, but we've also got
It's just terrible that it keeps going
terrible.
on.
It is
It keeps
terrible.
going on. Yeah.
So man, it's just ridiculous. But we've got this dude like stopping traffic, and like I think he's just waiting at the crosswalk at that zebra crossing with these people, and he's dressed in his like little Mao Zedong communist uniform, and he's like making his little speech. Just watch it; it's so funny. Comrades, can't finish the glass of wine, killing all the enemies. The little devils owe us blood debts, eternally unforgivable. Today's battle, kill these beasts. Comrades, do you have confidence? We do! Listen to my commands very well. Prepare to attack the enemy. Get ready. Charge and kill! The hell? Okay.
I used to do stuff like that. No, I mean not like communist, but like we'd when you all be at the light and everybody would be ready to go. I'd be like, China, everyone in one direction, go! And then we'd all start moving, and people would be like, "What's wrong with this foreigner?" But
yeah, me and my friend used to stand there, and you'd be facing other people, and you'd be like, "Mortal Kombat!"
yeah. But no, to dress up as one of the PLA guys or whatever they're called, yeah, that's a little. That guy's a little extreme.
Yeah, look at it.
Oh my gosh. He's getting like red shit blown on that little thing.
Yeah, it's done. It's done. But anyway, we are going to move on because we have to plow through this stuff, man. We've got quite a lot to talk about. Well, I have a lot to talk about regarding this one. So we're going to move on to the Taiwan news part of
Educate
the
me.
show. Okay, so right now in Taiwan, they are experiencing an unprecedented political showdown as there are some recall motions targeting the virtual removal of a major political party from the national legislature. and it's unfolding across the entire country. It is absolutely crazy, man. This whole thing is called the Great Recall or the Recall Movement or whatever they're calling it. It is absolutely insane. But I think before we jump into that, we kind of need to have a little bit of a background just to catch people up who don't really know much about it. Um, so in 2014, Taiwan had some presidential elections, and the guy on the screen that you can see there was voted in, Mr. Lai Ching-de. English name is William Lai. He's from the Democratic Progressive Party, which are pretty much against the CCP. And then there's another party called the Kuomintang or the KMT, who are pretty much pro-China, right? Um,
Mm.
now, um, so something that a lot of people didn't really follow was that although he won the presidency, his party did not get the maximum. They did not win in the legislative UN, which is pretty much Taiwan's version of the houses of parliament, or in America it would be Congress, right? So the Democratic Progressive Party did not get a
Mm.
majority win in that in the legislative UN. They only got 51 seats, and the KMT got 52 seats. And now this is a big problem. This is a huge
Mm.
problem because I think you need like 57 seats to have a majority. And if you don't have a majority, then you're going to have a lot of problems like making decisions um, and that kind of thing, with lawmaking and doing the
Um,
budgeting and that kind of thing. It is like totally, totally screwed up. And as you can see from this graph that I've got here, the DPP in the past, they've had majority in 2016, in 2020, but in 2024, things have completely changed and the landscape is completely different in Taiwan. So the KMT has 52 seats, the DPP only has 51 seats, and there's this little party called the Taiwan's People Party, called the TPP. They have 8 seats, and they have this opportunity to play the kingmaker, as they're calling it, because they could easily side up with the KMT to get that majority, and they've been pushing through legislation that can pretty much undermine Taiwan's security. And we all know that weakening Taiwan's security is going to leave them open to potential attacks from China. And the KMT is pretty goddamn pro-China. Yeah, it's crazy, dude.
when you say that they're pro China, just how pro is it? They want to be involved with China again, or do they actually want to like become China again? You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, they're okay.
Because to
So
give up your own power to become China again just doesn't seem like something a political party would want to do. But
yeah,
maybe they want to be more involved, right?
they want to be more involved with China for sure, for sure.
Right.
And it's quite alarming, I think, for a lot of Taiwanese people. When you start like pushing through these bills that they've been doing. So, for example, the KMT, they
Mhm.
cut the defense budget, and they froze 50% of funding for Taiwan's domestic submarine program, and it's also going to delay plans to build a lot of new like naval ships and that kind of,
Mm.
which is pretty screwed up.
Yeah, I always tell people like everyone talks like it's maybe like America one, China two, and I'm like, listen, even if your country or whatever isn't getting along with America, China is still not number two. China is
No.
still not who you should be looking to trade with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Go trade with all of Europe. Go trade with Australia. Go trade with anybody, but don't go trade with China because not only is it not good for you, it's just not good for the rest of the world. Like it's
Yeah,
never good, you
it's
know.
insane. It's insane. So
Yeah.
getting back to this, so the KMT, they also cut the budget for Taiwan's asymmetric defense efforts. So that includes like a 30% cut to funding for a new drone training facility. Yeah. So again, that's
Mm.
kind of like opening Taiwan up to attack from China. They cut a lot of international military exchanges. So once again, opening up Taiwan to attack from China, cybersecurity efforts, and the KMT and the TPP also pushed through a set of bills to reform the legislature, giving lawmakers more power to question government officials. And they claimed that it was to fight corruption, but the bills have been heavily criticized as just being rammed through with without any proper legislative review procedures, and they've been deemed unconstitutional by a lot of people because the definitions of these new bills are very vague, and they feel like it could be used like by the KMT for political revenge reasons. So obviously, the people in Taiwan are pretty pissed off, and
Mm.
they had some massive protests, which they called the Bluebird Removement. But in the end, this bill was passed, and now they have this thing called the Great Recall Wave. So that's what's going on in Taiwan now. So let me just explain this whole Great Recall Wave, and then we can talk about it, I guess. So as of March 10th, recall campaigners have been mounted against 34 of the Kuomintang, the KMT's 39 lawmakers. They're eligible to be recalled under Taiwan's Public Officials Election and Recall Act. At the heart of the discord is the inability of the Democratic Progressive Party's government and a legislature controlled by an opposition coalition consisting of 52 Taiwan People's Party and sorry KMT and 8 Taiwan's People Party and 2 independent lawmakers, and they just cannot freaking agree on anything. Like, when they're trying
Mm.
to get new laws pushed and new things to push in the government, it's just getting rejected every single time, and it's really, really pissing off the people there. So the DPP and KMT are fighting. They're trying to recall each other's lawmakers, and part of the process involves getting signatures from the public. So they have to get people to sign off on this, right? And if they get enough signatures, then they can bring it to a vote and they can actually remove these legislatures from office. So a lot of prosecutors in Taiwan have received tips about fraudulent signatures on petitions supporting the KMT's recall campaign. If you can see this picture here, here's some of the fake signatures. They actually used names of deceased people on the signatures, calling it ghost. They're calling it ghost signatures. And I think that's crazy, right?
Mm.
It's pretty insane. It's
Yeah,
like,
that's one of the issues of democracy, I guess you could say. Democracy is a wonderful thing. When you have one party that's doing the right thing and they don't hold all the power in every position, they can get balances and checks can happen, and they're not able to do necessarily what might be the best, you know?
yeah,
And when you look at someone like China, China has that opportunity of absolute power. So they have all the ability to do all the right things all the time, absolutely, but they don't. It's usually the opposite, unfortunately. So that's the
yeah.
difference there.
Yeah, it's this is just insane though, like how, the KMT have pretty it's like, Taiwan's president is from the Democratic Progressive Party, and yet
Mm,
the KMT pretty much has all of the power for like,
mm,
for legislature and that kind of thing. It's mental.
yeah, or at least they hold the cards right now, at least, anyways. Maybe
Yeah,
they can't go the other way either. Well, I guess they can if they want to, but you know, I don't see Taiwan ever getting back in bed with China necessarily though either way. I don't think
I
people
hope
would let it
not.
go that far.
I hope not, man, because it's crazy. So there's like a ridiculous clip coming up. Um, so there was this dude from the KMT who was summoned by prosecutors for questioning, and look at him. He rocks up with a
Holy
Nazi
shit.
armband on and a copy of Hitler's Mein Kampf. Now,
And he
obviously,
looks just fucking goofy, period.
it looks insane. Now, obviously, this dude is he's dressing up like this to say that the other party are fascists and look at
Right.
them. But this guy has pissed off a lot of people. Um, I think like a lot of like a lot of people in Germany have made comments about this guy, and in Israel especially have made comments about this guy and condemned his actions. I mean, look at the state of this guy.
Yeah, the talk of like Nazis and shit recently has been like it's been talked about more recently than than like in the past 20 years. It's like all these accusations of people being Nazis and now you have some guy like dressing up like it and actually walking down the street. It's like, are you out of your mind?
Yeah, yeah, like seriously, if his intention was to mock the Democratic Progressive Party, calling them Nazis, man, this guy seriously effed up because you just don't walk around with a copy of
Yeah.
Mein Kampf and a Nazi armband.
Yeah, it's just not realistic. Like, it's the same thing with Elon Musk here in the United States. They're like, "Oh, well, he's Hitler," and I'm like, "Listen, like I understand maybe you disagree with him and that's okay, but
Yeah,
comparing him to a guy that like killed thousands and thousands of Jews,
well,
prob-
millions.
yeah, like it's just not on the same level. Like I get it, but it's just not the same. You know
Yeah,
what I
no,
mean?
it's not the same. I mean, Elon is like a power hungry
Oh, for
like
sure. For
dude, you
sure.
know what I mean? But
For sure. You
he's
know,
he's not he's not fucking Hitler. Come on.
Especially like and then this guy on the screen, like Hitler would like if Hitler seen this guy, Hitler would like I don't know, Hitler would laugh. It would be like, who the hell are you?
Well, dude,
Yeah.
Hitler would want this guy dead because he's not
Yeah, of
part of the
course.
master
Yeah.
race.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, Jesus Christ. And yeah, anyway, it's just stupid shit. Like this guy like effed up big time. So yeah, anyway, so out of 61 of the recall petitions, apparently 41 of them contained ghost signatures. So that's crazy. And yeah, no matter what you think about what's going on in Taiwan, all of this crazy stuff, all of these like the crazy politics at the moment, it's definitely not China, and this kind of proves it because none of this would freaking happen in China, right? They wouldn't even be allowed to complain about their government.
No. Never. Like the protests, the people talking, sitting around, even having the discussion in public would just not it wouldn't happen.
Yeah,
Like they're always like, we allow protests in China. It's like, what are you guys protesting? And they're like, the McDonald's machine doesn't work again. And I'm like, that's not protesting. Like the shit that they protest in China is like irrelevant, you know?
yeah,
Like they don't allow them to protest politics in China. Like they protest about random goofy shit, that no one
yeah,
cares about really. Like they care
yeah.
about it, but it's not the government doesn't care about it.
And the government usually like steps in. And I remember once there was this protest about some chemical factory opening in Dalian, and they wanted to get rid of it because obviously it was bad for the people in the area.
Sure,
And
sure.
so there was a protest about that, but I'm pretty sure that the government had something to do with that anyway, because they caught wind that the people weren't happy, so they just made this protest up, and the people felt satisfied that they got to protest. But really, it was just like the government letting them do it. You know, it wasn't like
Mm,
it was some like random protest that just erupted out of nowhere. It was all this
sure.
organized bullshit.
Yeah, yeah. I remember like when they had all the farmer protest thing, and that one like government individual like kicked the farmer guy, and the farmer guy fell into a hole, and they like made a big deal about it. I was like, that's horrible. Like how you kick the protesting farmer and he falls in a hole. And I'm like, that's how the Chinese government feels about China. You know, I'm like,
Oh man, that's crazy, dude. Did you see that or
didn't see it. It was a thing that it was a discussion that it was a big thing that happened, and like they got it on video, and it kind of went around on WeChat for a while, and then
Jesus?
it just disappears. Obviously, it always does, you know.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah,
Anyway, we will be keeping our eye on what's going on in Taiwan with this whole recall thing. And yeah, like, sorry guys if my explanation of it wasn't that great, to be honest with you, because I'm still learning about it. But I hope you guys learned a little bit about what's going on in Taiwan. And now we're going to get to the trade war or the tariff war, which is probably more interesting.
it's good to hear about Taiwan. Taiwan is severely important in today's political world. It's essentially the chess piece between America and China right now. So
Yeah. And
yeah.
speaking of America and China,
Oh
let's get
boy.
ready to rumble.
Ooh.
Turn down for what?
Oh, holy shit. Bro
So
set off the
we've
propaganda police alarm.
got the propaganda police coming in hot. So the whole trade war thing, tariff war, whatever the hell you're calling it these days, is absolutely
Hmm.
crazy. What's the tariff on China now from America?
3,742.3%. It's like who knows at this point? It's outrageous.
Yeah.
It's just outrageous.
Yeah, it's gone insane, man. And so China, obviously, they're a little bit pissed off with it. So they countered with this propaganda here, this AI nonsense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is bullshit. Fat people like us, we can't sew. We can't do that. We're not working on Teslas and shit in factories like that.
yeah, I
Could
know,
you
right?
imagine? Could you imagine my ass in a factory like that? Yeah, right, bro.
Yeah, doesn't make sense, does it? I don't know what
No,
they're trying. Are they trying to say that if manufacturing moved to China to America, then this is what it would look like?
I think like the thing that they don't talk about is like manufacturing still sucks in China. Like it does. Like and no matter what
Awful
they want to
condition.
say, like the working conditions are just horrible. It
Yeah.
really is.
Yeah, it basically
And
looks like this.
yeah, I mean it's really bad. And you know they always want to talk about how they've brought people out of poverty. But if you ever did open these types of places in America and brought manufacturing back, there's no way it would be like this. People would never put up with it. They wouldn't. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
that's why it would be more costly. You know, because
yeah,
people wouldn't work in these conditions.
no,
And for people that don't know, like when these people that work at these types of companies, they'll migrate 1,000 miles, go to a factory. They'll sleep in a room with 15 people. It'll be all bunk beds. Everybody goes and eats at the same time, and they do these huge shifts. Everybody goes and works. They make shit money, and then they send it back to their family 1,000 miles away. And the money in their hometown is like pretty good, actually, but they're 1,000 miles away, and they're
yeah,
working in this garbage factory. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And I've actually seen them. I've actually known people that work in these factories and talked to them before, and I was like, hey, let me see the room you're in, and it's it's true. Like they'll be in a room with
Dormitory.
just a dormitory with just a bunch of bunk beds,
Yeah.
and they shut off the power to the dorm at a certain time, and the Wi-Fi and the internet and all that type of stuff. Make all the workers go to sleep and get up at a certain time and rinse and repeat.
Yeah. There's no way to
So
live, man. There's no way to live. Was
yeah,
Peter Pan on the bunk bed? Remember that dude?
man, exactly. Yeah, right. Bunk bed.
Oh,
That's
dude.
where he
Classic.
got it from. They just gave him the bunk bed. You could keep it.
Yeah. So this man, it's crazy. And there's been like this video, like we're gonna get to it in a second.
This
But
thing is made by AI too. These aren't even real fat people.
oh no, yeah, exactly. It's all AI
Like
garbage.
look at those fat people, and
关
then
税
look at me. You know,
Yeah. I mean,
obviously I'm not AI.
they could have just got you to act in that video, man.
Oh man, for like I don't know, $150 or something, I'd
Yeah,
do it,
dude.
man.
Yeah. Shall we make one?
I'd woo Mao it up.
So these guys, this guy put out this video because I think there's some Chinese factories at the moment. They've had to shift from exporting from like exporting to like selling domestically rather than internationally. And because
Mm,
of that, their prices have really like plummeted to rock bottom levels because they're having to sell it. Like they can sell like I don't know, like a pair of shoes to America for like a lot of money, but in China, that pair of shoes is worth absolute shite. And
mm.
you have this guy who made this video, and this has gone kind of viral. So let's watch it.
大战批发价格有多惨？
800块钱的椰子鞋，看一下我收了多少？20块钱拿过来了，30块钱的卖不掉。
Can't even sell them for $30.
像我身后这些鞋子更便宜。
1块钱来的，5块钱的卖不动，
Can't sell it for 5 yuan.
最夸张的是这些衣服，
5毛钱一件来的，还不知道怎么卖呢，打起贸易战了。
水晶夹缝，应该日子过得挺难的。你瞧我身后这些被子了吗？
全是正儿八经的水星家纺精品羊毛被，这一堆呀、3000多条，全是30多块钱收过来。
All of them were collected, sold for more than 30 yuan.
这精品羊毛被拿货价才30，你就想象这个生意多难干，在外边随随便便卖
It's no problem to sell it for 200 or 300 yuan outside. They mean like internationally.
个200-300没问题吧？卖50，
Now
你
we
要吗？
just can't even sell them.
手里的冰山一角，你瞧瞧那些电器、家电、百货，都是几块几毛收来的。想做电商，不知道怎么做；想做线下批发，不知道怎么做的，拿这些拼，引流，没问题。这个贸易战呢，整得人心惶惶。但是我相信咱们自己内需的需求，照样能拉动 GDP。
Sounds like a bit of wishful thinking, doesn't it?
Mm. Yeah, it's a funny thing. I used to tell people a story when I was in Guangzhou. Guangzhou is a huge factory for like clothing and stuff like that. You know, they literally have the old railway station. If anyone goes to Guangzhou, go to the old railway station. You'll see fake everything out there, but you'll
Yeah.
also see a lot of real stuff too. And it's funny because I used to go to this place, and they manufactured like Korean brands, a Korean brand of jacket, of coat that was really popular at the time. And you'd go there and you'd buy it. Well, they would sell it to you at the Chinese price because they can't sell it for the Korean price. You know what I mean? And so you'd go there and you'd spend probably like, I don't know, $30. And I would tell them, I'd say, this is fake. And they're like, no, this is real. Like, we're the real factory that produces this for this Korean company. But because we're in China, we can't sell it for anything here. But as soon as it gets off the boat and it lands in Korea, it goes from like $30 to these jackets are like 250, $300.
Yeah.
You know, so they just got to get it over there, you know. So it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, these guys, they're going to have to sell a hell of a lot of shoes to make the sort of money that they were originally
Oh
making.
man, yeah, of course, of course.
It's insane. It's insane, man. And like China relies on trade with America and other countries. And if they
Sure.
say they don't, they're full of shit.
Yeah, that's the thing about the tariffs is tariffs. People can say whatever they want to say, and people are going to get mad at me, but tariffs do work, and the reason that they work is because of something like this exactly. This guy is going to be unable to sell shoes and certain things in certain places because of the tariff. If he's unable to make it affordable for people to buy them, and no one can buy them, and he has to sell them domestically, or if he has to sell them in Bangladesh or Vietnam or these other countries, like it's just not going to work as well, because
It's not
that's
gonna
that's
make
the
it. Yeah.
thing. Countries, our countries, the UK, America, we really built China by buying their products at prices way more than they're producing them at. Like it's way more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially for like Nikes and stuff like that.
Yeah. China
$20 shoes for $150. If not
exactly.
more.
And we're going to see some another interesting couple of videos.
干就完了。
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got this dude who's also been making videos talking about how you don't have to buy the big brands because big brands are basically ripping people off. So you can just buy it from China. It's exactly the same thing, made in exactly the same way, but it just doesn't have the logo on it. Which this is kind of dumb. Let's just watch it and then we'll talk about
At
it.
Hermes boutique will cost you 38,000 USD. But what is the real cost out of the factory? Today, I'm going to break it down in front of you step by step. First thing first, Hermes only use the leathers from the 3 top-level suppliers. One is called Beauty from Italy. The second is Weinheim from Germany. And the third is from France. One piece of Togo leather, the same leather as this one, will cost 450 USD. And one piece of the leather is only enough to make one Birkin, okay? And next, thread. And of course, for Hermes Birkin, the thread is also the best top level. It's called Fil al Chinois from France. This is actually the Rolls Royce in thread. For each bag, the cost is 25 USD. And then the hardware. See, this hardware is called 316 hardware. It's also known as the ocean stainless steel because it can withstand the erosion of seawater. It's the best stainless steel. For one piece of bag, the hardware will cost 150 USD. The edge oil. This edge oil is imported from Italy. It's called heat seal edge oil. For each bag, it will cost 50 USD. The interior lining, it used lambskin imported from France. For each bag, the cost will be 100 USD. And also inside, there is a zipper from Riri brand. The zipper for one bag is 10 USD. And then the cost of human resource. The French artisans is much more expensive than Chinese artisans. To finish one bag, the human resource cost will be 600 USD. Package. Now, this is not as expensive with 10 USD. So now, to sum those up, the total cost will be 1,400 USD for one Birkin out of factory. But why Hermes will charge you 38,000 USD for one bag? That's because more than 90% of the price is paid for its logo. But if you do not care about the logo, you just want the same quality, same material, you can just buy from us. Because for our bags, we use exactly the same material, same leather, same hardware, same edge oil. The only difference is one, we don't have the logo, so we don't have to pay so much amount of money just for that logo. And second, our human resource is much cheaper. This is why this bag from our factory only costs you 1,000 USD.
Okay. It's man, that is just so stupid. This is driving me nuts because why do people buy a Gucci bag, for example, or Hermes or whatever it's called? They buy it
Yeah.
for the freaking logo. They
Yeah.
buy it because it's a designer brand. If they just wanted a cheap China knockoff, they would buy a
Mm,
cheap China knockoff.
right. And
You know what I mean?
he's trying to say, well, we use all the same, and even if you do, like, you're still not the original brand. I still can't walk around with it and show it off to people like was intended. You know
That's
what I
why
mean?
people buy designer brands. They do it to show off. And personally, I think that's just dumb. I mean, I'm not into designer brands and that community,
Right.
but you buy it to show off, right?
Sure. It's just like any. It's just like there's an alternative to everything, no matter what you're into. Like, I don't care if you're into like freaking Pokemon cards. There's 10 other types of stupid cards out there, but everybody wants Pokemon cards. It's like
Yeah,
same thing for shoes. Like, you want Nikes. Nobody wants your cheap ass, whatever, your Chinese shoe. Like, you can get it. It's there. It exists.
yeah.
But nobody wants it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's like if I gave you said to me, "Hey Lewis, I want you to buy me some Pokemon cards," just using that as an example. And then I came back with some cards called, I don't know, like Pokey Pokey or something, and I handed them to you and they were ripped off
Yeah.
them. You'd be
Like,
like,
what
"What the fuck?"
what is this shit? What are you doing? Bro, everybody loves these pokies. I'm like, bro, no, they don't. No, they don't.
Yeah. It's like if I if you wanted to buy a book, yeah, and then this guy said, "Yeah, well, we've got books too, but our books have no words in them, but they cost the same price, and it's the same as a book." Are you gonna believe this
Yeah.
shit?
Because that's the thing too. Is not everything that has a brand is necessarily expensive, but for a designer brand, that is why people buy them. People do buy them because they're expensive. Like, that's the point. Is you get to go to people and be like, "Well, I paid $5,000 for this bag."
Yeah,
Now, I think that's stupid, but if that's your flex, then that's your flex, I guess.
yeah. It's just
Um,
you buy these designer stuff to show off, and you're not gonna go and like pay because this guy's still asking for like what is it like? Let's see, does it
But
stay?
even better quality and
yeah, he
craftsmanship.
still wants a lot,
He still
actually.
wants like $1,000 for it or something, right?
Yeah, because
Secondly,
he claims to that they did use the high quality stuff, and everything. But
Sure, but like I think I know as well as you know as well as I do, sorry, that you can buy a knockoff like luxury brand bag in China for about like the most expensive would be about 300 to 400 dollars, right?
fair. And that is the point of purchasing from another factory in China, is I don't want to pay the full price, and it doesn't necessarily have to be 100% the same quality. It's like when people buy Jordans in China. It's like, bro, we're just asking for good. We're not asking for like an exact copy necessarily. Like, it's not going to happen because
Yeah.
people are always able to tell the difference.
Yeah. Yeah. And like China they do some really good copies though. Some of them it's
Oh, they
hard to
do.
tell.
They have one for one copies. They do for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think these people are just sort of like that. It reeks of desperation to me. It reeks of desperation because they know
Sure.
that this tariff war is going to hit them really hard, and they're trying to. This is propaganda at its worst, at the lowest, because they're
Well, here's the
trying to.
thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
If your factory is really that good and you're able to get all the same materials as the top factories in the world, why aren't you producing your own shit? Why are you producing
Yes,
copies?
yes.
Like,
Make your own luxury designer brand.
they can't do it.
Yeah, why can't they though? Like they've got all of the materials.
Because then you're like, oh, it's manufactured in China. It's kind of like,
Yeah,
you lose a lot of credibility there. For that,
yeah.
for a designer brand. Like, everyone knows these brands are put together in China, but they know that the pieces that they're made with come from Italy and Germany and these types of places.
Yeah,
France or whatever.
but actually manufactured in China, it still has a stigma attached to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, because you never know how good the manufacturing process is unless there's a lot of oversight. Like that's the thing. They talk about iPhones being made in China. You have to understand there's a lot of oversight there. You know what I mean? They're
Mhm.
really watching production quality and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So this just reeks of desperation. The obviously the tariff thing is kind of having a massive impact on China right now, and they're scrambling to come up with ways to trick people in the US into buying stuff straight from them rather than going through the middleman, I guess. And this is a
Mm.
result of that. And here we have
Chanel
more.
cosmetics, 80% are made in China and cost only $5.
And you still don't know who are the suppliers behind Dior? Their knitwears and cardigans are from Young's Garments from Hangzhou.
Some say as long as there's a tag saying made in China,
Okay, what's the deal with the floating faces circling around him?
Chinese salespeople and stuff like that are kind of weird. I used to watch them on TikTok and like they would always like hit the bell. Anytime there was a sale, they would like hit the bell, and I'm like, oh god, just stop. They'd be like beating the shit out of the bell. I'm like, settle down. You
Yeah,
know,
like
it's
just
like scam. We scammed another one. Ding. And I'm like, why are you bragging about it? You know, like why are you bragging about scamming people on TikTok? Stop doing that. You know.
it's pathetic.
Another piece of shit sold. Ding. It's cheaper on Temu. You know, like same shit all
the
on
bag
Temu.
can never be luxury.
Yeah,
However, in fact, more than 80% of the luxury bags in the world are made in China. But those luxury brands just won't acknowledge that. They take
obviously.
almost finished bags from China factories back to their own factories and just do the repackaging and logo installing, something like that. That way, the bags will appear at their boutiques as made in Italy or made in France.
Who are the suppliers behind the Lululemon #1 Xianglong apparel? I guess most of you know the price of Lululemon or other big brands. They sell you a legging pants for $100. And guess what? Here in these two factories, you can get them for around $5 to $6.
Wow. Anyway,
Do you notice that girl's head changed size like 4 times from the app? In China, they always use those apps that
Oh.
resize their faces.
the beauty filter.
Yeah, her head was like.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I just thought her head did that. I think that's just a natural head.
That's sure.
I
Hopefully.
just wanted to find. I think Mike sent another super chat. I just wanted to read that. I didn't want him to think we
Jeez.
forgot about it. So what does he say? Any news on the moon rocks China returned from the dark side of the moon? Maybe it was a quest for better concrete.
Man,
Yeah.
Mike is balling. He's got all kinds of money. He just keeps
Yeah.
throwing money.
Mike's making it rain.
It's appreciated. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, they could get better, probably higher quality concrete from the moon if they could just somehow import that shit and get it down here, right? You know, because whatever they're
Yeah.
doing now is definitely not working.
Yeah, I agree, and I think they would be better off getting it from the moon. But I just would worry, like, if the spaceship that they use to transport the concrete, if that was made in China, then boy, it's fucked, right?
Yeah, they would somehow mess shit up. They would throw the moon off of its gravity and it would kill us all or something.
Yeah, it'd be like massive tidal waves coming in, and the Earth is destroyed or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So I think that's all we've got time for today, really, isn't it? We've been going for over an hour now.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, usually we have time to check the chat. I don't know. Have you got 10 minutes or so?
Yeah, go ahead. That's fine. We can look over the chat real fast.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we've got quite a lot of people talking. I guess, guys, if you've got a question that you want to ask us or anything, like type it now, and we'll take 5 to 10 minutes to have a look, see what you guys are saying. But yeah, I just because there's loads of chat, it's really hard to go through it and just pick something out, you know. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. Do you keep an eye on your chat, Corey? Because I don't
No, unfortunately, I don't. I
know.
should.
Okay.
I'll have to do my. I don't like. I haven't been getting any comments, anyways. Well, I don't want to say that.
Get a few.
the- there's been a little change to my channel, which I'll speak to you about later. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. Well, I saw you were like streaming some like video of some
yeah,
like, computer
yeah,
game.
yeah. I'll just say it now. Yeah, it's very weird. Like, so my channel has been very stagnant because I don't upload. So I just uploaded some computer game. Well, it's a phone game actually,
Okay.
and put a couple lives up. Just did that for some funsies, and it's almost like it restarted the algorithm on my channel for some reason.
Weird.
Because now I've had like 300 subs in the past like week and a half. So
Really?
yeah, it's really weird. I don't know. Some of my older videos are getting some views, and I've gotten some subs off of my older videos and a couple of the shorts that I put out. So it's really
That's cool.
weird.
I'm gonna
I
have
don't
to start
I don't know
streaming
what
phone
happened.
games.
I'm like, yeah, I'm like, phone game. I'm like, I was just like, F it one night, and I was like, I'll just put a game up, and yeah, I don't know. It's really weird. So, of
Nice. Nice.
course, those videos got 0 views, but who cares?
It would be
So,
better if you played the game and you were like on the stream as well, I think.
sure, yeah.
Because I was watching and I was like, what the F am I watching here? Like
So in China, they have League of Legends on the phone. It's called Wangzhe Rongyao, and it's the same thing here, but it's Wild Rift. So it's the same
yeah.
thing, except I
Okay.
suck at it now. So yeah, haven't played in a few years. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, keep it up, dude. If it's getting you views and subscribers.
Well, I don't know. I think it tricked the algorithm. I think it turned me back on because it didn't get any views. So I don't know. But
Yeah, weird one. That is weird. But you do need to put out some videos, I think.
yes, yes, of course.
All right, let's see. We got a couple of comments. Let's see. Light bulbs almost all made in China. Are we going to live in the dark? Where are we going to get light bulbs?
Ooh.
Ugh.
These kinds of questions are like,
Ding!
I think here's the thing that people have to understand about China too is it's true. China manufactures a lot of things for the Western world, but at the same time, there's a lot of countries I'm sure that would love to take over the production and pick up the slack for China.
Yeah, of course.
Like Cambodia and Vietnam and these different countries. I'm sure they would love to have their people making money from America and the UK and all of Europe, and it's an
Yeah,
opportunity.
yeah, for sure,
You
for
know.
sure, for sure. China is not the be all and end all.
Yeah, I think that's the thing is like China is so good at manufacturing and has been doing it so long that like people think that China's the only country that can manufacture anymore.
Yeah.
And it's like that's not true. It's just not true.
I think we've seen, time has proven that China's not the only place that can manufacture. A lot of places have actually moved to Vietnam
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
India.
For sure. Yeah, I've been to Vietnam, India, Thailand, and those countries, and I've got a friend in India that tells me that manufacturing and stuff has been coming there a lot. That a lot of people have been going there because it's still cheap wages.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah.
And they can compete with China as well. So, yeah. So to answer this
Yeah.
question, nope, we're not going to live in the dark.
And that's the other thing. A lot of those countries would love to compete with China. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So
Because they've seen what like this whole manufacturing opportunity has done for China, right? It pretty much developed their country for them.
sure.
Yeah. Okay, are you going to vote for the local election on the 1st to the 5th? Yes, I am. Yeah. And I'm gonna not tell you who I'm gonna vote for, to be honest with you. It's a
Ooh.
secret.
Ooh. Are you gonna tell me off stream?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. now I'm interested.
Lewis, do you know anything of Mark Carney? He was involved in the Bank of England and supposedly did a gash job of it. That's funny you say that because I went to school with a dude called Mark Carney, and if it was him, yeah, he fucking did do a gash job of it because he was a freaking dumbass. But I don't know if it's the same dude. Okay, let's see. Uh, what if the USA invaded China? What?
Oh my god, that is a very very pointed. I don't know how to. It's very yeah. I mean that would be all out war, right? I mean let's be honest. That would be terrible, crazy stuff. But I don't think it'll ever get to that point. I think China's gonna spontaneously combust on its own, of course, before it ever gets to that.
Gonna become a tofu country.
Yeah, like they're gonna Chinese people are gonna catch on. They're gonna be like, yeah, all these pretty lights and shit are nice, but like, would you stay out of my phone conversation? Like, that's kind of weird.
Yeah, it is weird, but I think if there is going to be a war between the USA and China, it won't be the USA invading China. Like,
Yeah,
I
no,
don't think that's going to happen. Like, it's
no.
unrealistic. Okay, Mike Stewart says to Corey, he says, talk about China topics while you game and spread the word to the masses. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird thing. There are two different genres that have absolutely nothing to do with each other, which is why
Yeah.
I was just like, F it and put it up anyways. But no, my channel will always be. It's always going to be about China. That's just the thing. If I start
Time in
gaming
China.
and posting it elsewhere, I'll probably post it on another channel. It was just something I did just to let people know that like I do more than just think about China. Obviously, you know.
Yeah.
So.
I remember you did have another channel about Orlando as well, right?
Yeah, I had a channel about Orlando. One time. I've had a couple channels that I've tried before and like were actually a little successful, but I
Yeah,
just never like. You've got to be really interested and motivated in the topic that you're making content about. And I
absolutely.
think that's why you and I have talked about some stuff before that seems really motivating, really exciting, and would really deliver some great content. So
That's for the
yeah,
future. You gotta
sure,
plan
sure.
for the future, but it's gonna happen. I think. I think a good idea might be to move this live stream to like a whole new channel, and that's the channel for live streaming on.
Sure, sure. Yeah, we could do that. That's not a problem. The other thing too, as I mentioned to you, we're gonna have to start doing on the weekends now our live stream, so the
That's
time
yeah,
will
oh, yeah.
change.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Yeah. Uh, yeah. Can you tell them what's going on then?
Right. So yeah, just with me switching jobs, I will only be able to do weekends now. And for me to continue to stream with Lewis through the live, we'll have to do. I think we said Sunday.
Yeah.
Probably is when we'll do it. We'll probably do it sometime on a Sunday. So
Yeah. We haven't figured out the time yet, though, have we?
no, I mean time doesn't have to change for me. It's just mostly as long as it's on that day.
Yeah.
But we do have, of course, Lewis is in the UK. I'm in America. There is a time zone difference, obviously. So we have
Yeah.
to figure what's good for both of us in that way too.
Yeah.
So
But that will be starting from next week, right?
yeah, that'll be next weekend. We'll start doing that. Sometime, I guess, throughout this week, we will release that information onto our channels about what we're going to be doing. I guess with that.
Yeah. And we get
So
to I think it might be better doing it on the weekend. I think more people will be around, so
sure, sure, yeah, that's the same thing. Yeah, I mean, a Saturday or a Sunday, more people will be around, more free time,
yeah.
and yeah, so yeah.
Okay, just one more question and then we'll head off, I guess. But Lightseeker says, "Where is Kerdafu at?" Kerdafu is my friend Chris from Canada, who's been on a couple of live streams in the past. Where is he? That's a very good question because he's kind of gone AWOL. He's gone MIA, missing in action. Haven't heard from him for ages. He's kind of just decided to delete all of his social media and stuff. So I don't know. But
Oh,
I
yeah,
want
you
to.
have one of those too, huh?
Yeah, I want
I
to
have a
get him
friend
on
that
here.
travels. I have a friend that travels and lives abroad and constantly moves. He works remotely, works in like cybersecurity,
Yeah,
and he disappears for months on end, and then all of a sudden he'll update like his
yeah,
Instagram, and he's like hanging out with chicks in Argentina, and you're like, what
yeah.
happened? You
Weird that,
know?
isn't it? That's weird.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like, I don't know,
yeah,
man. Like, I'm pretty consistently on social media. So when somebody just
yeah,
disappears and then reappears, I find it a bit jarring.
yeah.
It's just
That's what I
weird.
do. Really, it ruins your YouTube channel. Don't ever do that. Just be consistent.
Yeah, dude. You
Yeah,
almost didn't show up for this stream, man. But you were driving,
man.
so I'll let you off.
Oh, I was speeding for sure. I was, yeah,
That's cool. Well, at least you care enough about the stream to get there in
yeah,
time, so that's good to know. Cool,
yeah.
dude. Well, thank you for joining us today, everybody,
As
and Corey, thank you as well. Let's end the stream.
alrighty.
All right, see you guys. So remember what Corey said. We're changing the stream to a Sunday. We haven't figured out the time, but keep your eyes out on our channels where we will put a community post up.
And stay hydrated.
Yeah.